Hello and welcome to Radio Epic number 2 with acbtheman, and we have Doc Shenanigans
Hello.
and bnelly.
Hello.
So one thing we forgot to do on the last podcast is we forgot to really introduce ourselves. So Doc, give a quick synopsis about yourself, what you do in Destiny, where you kind of fit in the Destiny landscape.
I like to do a little bit of everything. PvE, PvP, uh, mostly raids for the most part, and in the Crucible, a little bit of Trials and Iron Banner. Pretty much what I do.
Okay, and what about you, bnelly?
Kind of the same. I like doing raids. I like helping people through them since that was something I needed help with, and I dabble in PvP every once in a while, but it's not something I'm super invested in.
Nice. Well, AC the Man, I like to just play the game to experience essentially a chill time when I get home. I know that's kind of what everyone does, but I am not actively trying to level up. I'm not actively trying to get weapons and stuff. Every once in a while, I'll jump in and say, "Oh, I need this quest," or especially this week with the Atheon Challenge. But generally, I just play this game, and when I get new gear, and I do tend to have good RNG, I like to level up. I like to get better, but at the same time, I'm not trying to be try hard. So,
Like fun.
exactly. So, first things first. Atheon Challenge. Well, I guess it's not first things first, but Vault of Glass thoughts and or tiers you've collected in bottles, stuff like that.
It's a good time.
It is very enjoyable. Got a couple gallons of my tears, in my kitchen that I bottled up for future use.
I like what they did. They took it and said, "Hey, you really like this raid? Let's change little aspects that really make it to how they wanted it to be in year one or how it should have been." So the entrance is the same. You stand outside, you open it up. You're heading in down into the Templar. If you want to get the new chest, by the way, go the back way to the Templar. But we do the Templar, and they have shortened the time on the Oracle section, which is nice. They've shortened the time on the Complexes section, which is nice. But then they said, hey, guess what? What you've been doing before, the Templar Challenge, is actually a challenge mode now, and it's going to take a lot of coordination. So, Templar Challenge, the no teleport challenge. What are your guys' first thoughts on
The struggle bus.
that?
It's the hardest part, I think, personally.
I had a group that I ran with the other day that actually had two. Well, it was the same group, but we changed out people. But I had a group the other day I was running with, and we got through to the Templar, no problems. Got there. We had one person just was making it life difficult, just wasn't where he needed to be and everything. We just couldn't get the Templar kill. It didn't help that when our relic holder just kept missing jumps between the two teleport or places. We changed out one guy, and we got it the second try or the first try right after that. But we had a much well coordinated team. The guy that we traded out was 389 or something. So we had to kind of carry him a little bit. So I think for as any of the new stuff with the raids, coordination. I mean, if you don't have it, you're gonna have a bad time trying to do any part of any of the new raids, I think. And it's gonna probably be the same way with King's Fall, and if they redo parts of Wrath of the Machine or whatever. So, yeah, it's a struggle bus sometimes.
That's interesting that you said your relic holder went back and forth, because from talking to our clan and everything, there's essentially what I seem to be three different strategies going into this. And by the way, the old teleport challenge was do not let him teleport. You stand in the circles he's going to teleport to. He calls on a Minotaur and you move. He had 4 or 5 spaces that he would teleport to. Now he only tries to teleport to 2 different places if you're blocking his teleport. And so it sounds like bnelly, your group um, did the uh, relic holder blocks both. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Now, where were you standing?
So our team, we stood, like right when you drop down that area right there next to the conflux where it spawns. Our entire
Okay,
team, we kind of split on either side of that, and we're helping kill ads and stuff. And then when, obviously it was time for DPS, then we all kind of converged near the center and off to the sides to kind of like keep the pillars between us and the Templar. And
okay,
yeah, and then our
so
relic
sorry.
holder ran back and forth. So that's kind of what we did.
So we tried that, and we could actually not get that done. My group that went through it spent an hour and 45 minutes just hitting our head until we finally got it. Our strategy was a little bit longer, probably, but we did the same thing where we had the one relic holder do both, but instead of standing by the pillars, we stood up on the rock as if we were doing the relic holder stays on one side strat. But we had three people DPSing and two people on ad duty or take the back. We had two people DPSing and two people on ad duty because I died and I got to watch them for 5 minutes. I got to watch Easy Shake and Bake jump back and forth for 5 minutes. It's fun, anyways. Um, so he jumped back and forth for 5 minutes. He was great. He did what he needed to, but with essentially only two people DPSing, it took forever to take him down. Doc, did your group do anything different? Did you get through that challenge this week, or?
I've had success in a couple different ways so far. We The first group I made it through with, we just had the relic holder covering the left side by himself, just
Okay.
jumping onto the rock and then jumping into the front left corner again, while everyone else was over covering the right teleport. Uh, Basically just kind of having a free for all as far as killing ads and putting DPS on the boss went. We had our two titans just constantly switching off, dropping bubbles over the point, and after that, if they had heavy, they'd shoot him. If they didn't, they'd go back to shooting ads. And the second group I made it through with, I think, is fairly similar to what you guys did. It sounds like where we had everybody stacking up in the back, like right where you jump down, and then our relic holder was just jumping back and forth on top of that pillar to cover the teleports, and both of them seem to work pretty well.
See, and I've even done it a third way that's a mixture of both. The first time I did the Templar challenge was we had the relic holder on the left side, and then we had a Titan with a bubble on the right. But instead of everybody being over there, we actually were still all in the back. So that's the way. Like I've done it a couple of different ways, and there's mixed feelings about which way is better. But yeah, we got it done. I guess that's all that matters.
The way that I've heard that most people say is the fastest is you have Relic Holder on the left, you have Bubble Titan on the right, and you have a Stormcaller, one dedicated ad person who has a exotic sword and a shotgun. And so the Stormcaller is on ad duty and everybody else. So then that means you have four on DPS duty. And Sleeper seems to be the name of the game for this raid. And they had Sleepers with a tether, so they would all count as crit shots. And they were able to do it in like a minute and a half,
Wow.
maybe something like that. So
That's pretty impressive.
yeah, I've seen a video of that. I was just like, yeah, I don't think my raid group would have been that coordinated. So, speaking about all these ways that we did it and the different ways you can actually do this, do you think that this is or was, excuse me, a good challenge? We all expected it because you could kind of do it in year one to get the extra chest. But do you think this was a good challenge? Do you think they handled this correctly? To be honest, I wish there would have been a little bit more challenge, and I know we all had a pain in the rear time trying to do it, but I wish he would have teleported them more than just two. I guess that was for the poor Guardians who were going to get their butt handed to them. But if he'd have gone like the year one to all the different spots, I think it would have been cool. But what are your thoughts on was this an appropriate challenge for Templar?
That would have been rough if he was moving around to all of them. I It definitely feels like there's not a lot of movement outside of the relic holder when you're doing it though. Like it's very much just a stand and DPS kind of thing. Would have been nice to see some more I don't know, a little more chaos in it.
To be fair, the War Priest challenge in King's Fall is that. I know King's Fall, everyone complains that it's just a DPS. Well, the first half is a DPS challenge, but War Priest, you have somebody take it and everyone's just standing there. I mean, that's how you kill them, but there are other challenges where you're just DPSing everything. So it is worthy of a challenge. I just don't know if I don't think I would have designed it that way, but then I think a far less people would have actually completed it.
I'd say I have to agree because, like, I mean, the only way I ever did Vault of Glass, we always did it where we didn't allow him to teleport, or at least not as much. So I don't. I guess it's hard to say what they could have done instead. Um, Maybe I don't know if adding in like a new mechanic would have done anything, but maybe just throwing in something different. I guess maybe I don't know something a little extra, make it a little tougher. I mean, it was tough to start with, but I guess
Yeah,
having something maybe new or something that's in the game elsewhere and bring it over into there and be like, hey, now you have to do this in addition to not letting him teleport. Because, like, I mean, if I was like DPS, I was just like, yeah, I'm just sitting here shooting ads, killing oracles. I'm not really doing anything besides that. And maybe somebody, I don't know, maybe the relic. Actually, it would be interesting is if the relic teleported between characters, between people. So like,
I like
kind of
that.
like kind of like the King's Fall stuff, where like it picks a random person each time. So like, you know, you maybe doesn't teleport once. Then if he doesn't teleport, then he's like, oh, let's switch relic holders. So now you have to figure out who's got the relic. If they can even take the relic. If they're going to be good with it. Um, I don't know. I think it would have been a little more interesting than what they came out with. Not to say that it wasn't. It just, if I think, oh, hey, 390, it's going to be hard, that kind of stuff, I want a challenge. And, I mean, I don't know how much of a challenge it actually ended up
well,
being.
to be fair, once people found out the strategy, it wasn't that challenging. But when we were first trying to figure out what the strategy was, especially if you joined a group, even if you know the people that aren't a normal raid group for you. Like I raid every week with our clean epic guys, but I don't have a set like, oh, I raid with
Group.
these set people every time. And so it just took us a bit to get ready. So if there was anything else, I just thought of what if the Minotaurs were trying to sacrifice themselves to confluxes while you were blocking teleports. So not only did you have an ad guy, you had a Minotaur guy that had to kill him.
Hmm.
I mean, something like that. That would have been awesome. But
That
that
would be
may
pretty
have been
enjoyable
too
too.
much for the average raider. I don't know.
Well, I don't think it would be any different from like doing like an access challenge, to be honest. I mean, you have the empowerments that switch each time, so you have even if you run with the same group or don't, you still got that added pressure of like you've got like access, you've got 7 seconds to figure out who needs to be where and quickly, otherwise you're screwed. So I mean, a teleporting relic, I don't think would be too far out of the norm, considering it's basically what happens with access, you know. So I don't think it would be something totally unheard of or shocking.
Just gives you the relic and says, it's yours now. Go block the teleport.
Yeah, yeah, you know, maybe it would, I don't know, do something else, but
You can take a little bit of time between the attempts to teleport, and so you have maybe 10 seconds to understand where you're going and be ready, which may be a little bit too easy, but just say, hey, you now have the relic. You need to get to a spot or something like that. I don't know. I just thought it could have been something a little bit more than just, hey, he's got two spots. Now, we were getting our butts handed to us by Minotaurs until we all stood up there and literally took 5 minutes to take them down. But, I mean, other than that, it was great. No Fatebringer drop for my group, but hey,
I
you know,
got one.
hey, I got a story. I got a story about loot on the end of on Atheon here in a second. Anything else we need to say about the Templar challenge?
No,
No, I
no,
think we're good there.
All right. Did any of you try the Gorgon Maze booklet node of killing all the Gorgons?
I've
no.
not tried that yet.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to say what it is. You can probably find it on Reddit. There's supposedly I think that's probably not that's not a real word. Whatever. There is theoretically a cheese for it, so that way you get out of the darkness zone and can constantly respawn. I'm going to check it out tomorrow. And I know that's oh, you're not supposed to cheese, but go look it up yourself.
Somebody's going to do it.
From what I've heard, the proper way is to either sword him or literally just wait 4 minutes in between each Gorgon and have four Celestial Nighthawk golden guns. Right, jumping puzzle's the same. Gatekeeper's essentially the same. My group had to go one at a time instead of soloing each side. Anything about Gatekeeper that's interesting for you guys?
Not so much really. It's more or less the same, like you said.
Just adding another relic.
Oh, that's right. They added the third rank. That was fun. We actually had a guy who, on our first, Atheon attempt, he was not good with relic, and so we had somebody say they need to go to the restroom. So we started the gatekeeper and gave him the relic from the gatekeeper and said, "Go at it," and just didn't pick the other two and just waited, just let them. So if you need practice on relic, grab a gatekeeper checkpoint, kill the gatekeeper. Do not grab the other ones, and hey, pass relic around, get some practice. So now the one that made us cry at night and hurt some friendships, and they're mended now, but definitely hurt some friendships over the challenge. So Atheon challenge, guys. So normal Atheon shouldn't be too bad. Kill all the oracles, run out, kill him. Atheon challenge, though. Well, what are your guys' thoughts on the Atheon challenge?
A whole lot of suckage.
All right, so for those who don't know, the Atheon challenge is you can only kill one oracle every time you get teleported, which means that everyone has to go in. But if all six guardians are inside of the portals at one time, you wipe. So you have to have somebody on the outside at all times, and you have to kill only one oracle. Then you have to get to the middle. Then you have to DPS Atheon, and if you don't kill him in one times vengeance phase, you have to do it again, and you still get randomly teleported. You cannot choose who's teleported. You still will be randomly teleported to a side. So if you're not on the right side, you have to book it to the other side to open the portal for them inside. This really, really took some, I don't know, some coordination. So what for those who got it done, for the two of you, I guess first off, did y'all get it done?
Yes,
Yeah.
twice
Yeah.
at least.
Okay. So we all got it done at least once. So what? I guess bnelly, I'm going to start with you then. Sorry, excuse me, bnelly. I'll start with you. What strategy did your team imply? How did you get it done? What made you just stop from wanting to murder each other?
Well, there might have been a few times I pushed somebody off the map, but that's not relevant to this. No, the strategy that we employed, that I used most often, was the strategy that you get one. Obviously, one person picks up the relic. The first two people that go in there with the relic holder get the first two oracles. Um, and the strategy that we came up with was, as soon as you kill an oracle, you run out the gate, and get back outside. And as soon as the first person came out the gate, everybody else went in. And usually what we would do is then, like, you'd have the last two people. So you'd have, your three outside. You'd send two people in, one person to hold the gate open on the outside. And then as soon as the second and third people came out, then you would then the sixth person would go in and kill the oracles. And basically what it boiled down to was communication and coordination, which my first couple groups lacked severely. But it was, just everybody would come in, call out which oracle they were killing. The relic holder got like the fifth or sixth one, and then you all booked it out, done normal Atheon stuff after that.
so killing Atheon himself. Any particular weapon comp, team comp? What did y'all use?
Sleepers were preferred. We did have some people running galley because they didn't have sleepers, which they're total noobs if they didn't do that. By now, everybody should have a sleeper, to be honest, unless they're new, I guess. But sleepers, snipers, if you ran out of sleeper, the typical bubble in the back, the relic holder standing in front, trying to tether him as much as we could since, we have increased super gain. I only was able to one phase him once. That was my last run, like 2 nights ago, I think. We one phased him, our last attempt. We'd been at it for like an hour and a half or so, and it was our last attempt, and we finally one phased him because we were like right down to the end, and we're like, we got 10 seconds, keep going, like we're gonna do this, like we're not running through this again, and we finally finished it. That was where I got my exotic fate bringer, which was awesome. But yeah, just pretty much, just coordination, everybody getting in, getting out, killing oracles as quickly as we can. And I can't stress enough having something that can kill an oracle in like 1 or 2 shots. That drove me up a wall when you like run in. If you're like, I was always the sixth person if I was outside. I'd run in and I'd see a teammate sitting there shooting it with their scout rifle. And it wasn't like one of the raid weapons. And I'm like, I'm going to kill you myself. Because I was like, if you can't kill it, find something you can. Like, if you have a sleeper, use a sleeper round if you have to. Like, kill it so we can move on. Like, you don't have time to sit there and shoot it with a primary. That's not like one of the raid weapons. But
Quick question. So when you were calling out, did you call out like a specific number of the oracle you were going to kill, or how did you know who killed what oracle?
so, they spawn in pretty much the same locations for both. There's a little slight differences. So, like the first one on Mars and stuff, and Venus spawn in 2 different locations. Like Venus is a little farther back, Mars is a little farther forward and on the left. Essentially, we kind of ran it down to a system that specific people would get specific ones. Not like the person itself, but whoever was like the relic holder and whoever was the last person in. So like the relic holder always got 5 or 6, and then the last person in got 5 or 6, whichever one the relic holder hadn't gotten. And then after that, it was, obviously your first 2 people in, or the first 2 people that teleported in, not carrying the relic, got 2 or 1 and 2. Then you've got the 4th and 5th person would get 3, 4, and then your 6th person and the relic holder got 5 or 6. But essentially, it was if like you were in, like I would always call if I didn't grab the relic, I'd call first. Because I had the raid weapon, I could start it quick and get us going. So I'd be like, bnelly first, and then the other guy'd be like, all right, I got second, and then the third and the 4th and 5th guys would come in and be like, hey, I got 3, I got 4, and then the last 2 guys would be like, I got 5, I got 6, and it basically just whoever. Because you can't like be like, oh, Nelly's always got 1. Well, if I wasn't inside, obviously I'm not going to go get 1. So it was just like we called it quickly, kind of like, empowerments. You'd be like, oh, we got left, right, and center. If we don't have those, we move. That was kind of thing. We just quickly figured out who was going to kill which ones. And if you didn't kill your one, you had to quickly try and find another one to kill. Or, it was a lot of communication work. I think even more than like Axis at some points. Because it's like totally random, and it's, you have all 6 people instead of just 3 people, trying to do stuff. So it was definitely a challenge for a couple of groups I ran with. So,
Well, I had a slightly different way that we did it, but Doc, did you have anything different that you did than Benelli's group?
I think it was pretty similar. Yeah, we had our 2 guys who weren't carrying the relic. go ahead and take out the first two. Our relic holder would get number 3. And while he was doing that, the other two would be running out, and then 4 and 5 would come in. And we just had him like not shoot anything until our third relic was down for sure. And then our number 6 would come in as soon as 1 and 2 were out, and then we'd all just kind of pile up like normal in the middle and sleep them to death.
Okay, so I have a different way, and I'm going to preface this by saying that you need to have 6 confident raiders in your group.
Also for good.
Are only, well, it's good, but if you're trying to bring somebody in, your method of calling numbers may be good. We had like 3 call-outs. We called out which side we were on. We called out one person to stay outside of the portal, and we called out weapons in back. We were calling like make sure to refresh your weapons from the back. We didn't call Oracle at all. We said we're gonna go in, look at your bottom left, watch your feed. We all shot at all of them. So relic holder picked up the relic, went down to kill the ads. We were having trouble with ads, so we actually took a second to kill an ad or two, so the relic holder didn't have to kill all of them, no matter which side we went to, which I know is a big no-no, but we did anyways just because we were dying from ads for whatever reason. Then the first 2 in would start shooting at oracles. When your name popped up, you were done. Like, we just had to trust, and we just had to look at the bottom. When you saw your name, you were done shooting at oracles. If you didn't see your name, you still shot at oracles. And so that can be risky, especially if somebody misses their name. But we had 6 people who had rated a lot and were willing to try that, and we finally did it. What would happen is when the last portal would open, or when the portal would open, 2 people would immediately run inside and would start shooting at oracles no matter what. Even if we had, I think on our final run, one of the guys ran in and actually killed number 3, who he literally stepped in, killed an oracle immediately, and stepped out. And it was just like, you had to trust that everyone got their oracle, and you had to be absolutely sure that your name popped up. Our relic holder got 3 or 4, I can't remember, I think he got 4, but our relic holder cleansed the first 2 people and then went to the middle. So our relic holder was in the middle when Time's Vengeance hit 29 seconds. I'm gonna post a video about what our group did and put huge disclaimers on it, but it's not going to work every time. But from my perspective, I got teleported in. I ran in, I killed a hobgoblin, I shot the first oracle, waited to get cleansed, ran outside, killed 1 supplicant, and by that point we were already ready to go with Time's Vengeance because we had been spending like 45 minutes, so we took a break. It's really cool because the video is actually us just loading into the Vault of Glass and doing it on first try, because we had been doing it for 45 minutes and we had to take a pee break and a smoke break and all that stuff. And so we were just like, we're going to be quiet, we're going to get it done. And we had 6 very confident raiders, and we ran inside, we killed all the oracles, ran outside. It was one of the quickest runs that I've seen, and we got lucky. But on top of the tether, on top of the bubble, I was running a Viking Funeral Fusion grenade build. And so as soon as the tether went out, I jumped up and threw a fusion grenade on there, which laid Viking Funeral twice. And then as soon as he did it again, I threw another fusion grenade there, and we had 6 sleepers with us, luckily. So we had essentially the perfect setup, the perfect lucky run to get it done. And so be cautious. If you do not have 6 confident raiders, you might want to do the call-out thing. You might have to do more than 1 damage phase. But we just were like, you know what? We're going to try it. And just when you kill an oracle, get the heck outside. And we got lucky. And also have an awesome video. I will be honest, but it looks like we did it first try, which is very cool.
It always feels nice when you can go back down and get them right after taking a break. Just the first go. That's such a nice feeling.
So, any decent loot? I said I had a story. So we did that, and I was the only one to get a Vex out of our raid group. It was awesome. We had 1 Vex drop for us. Either of you get a Vex or any other piece of notable loot?
I'm still missing the Vex. All the other exotic primaries, though.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same boat. I'm trying to get the legendary versions as well, because I mean, it's hard to justify an exotic primary in the raid versus sleeper galley or sword or whatever at this point. They're just not good enough to justify taking over that spot.
Yeah, I was using the Praetor's Timepiece on the Oracles, but I got a legendary drop on the Gatekeeper the night before, and so I was able to use the sleeper, but still have an Oracle Disruptor weapon.
Yeah,
Um, and so, while they're nice, they're going to be for burns, they're going to be for nightfalls. Uh, that's about it for the using them. Also, when Iron Banner comes back next week, and we'll talk about it in a second, you don't want to use that. You might not want to use that exotic primary. If you want to use Fatebringer again, if you have the legendary Fatebringer, you might can use an exotic special. So I mean, it's nice to have the adept versions, but honestly, I was happier to get the regular legendary ones on most of them. So
I definitely want to get the legendaries. I really enjoy the scout rifle. Can't remember what it's called,
Vision of Confluence.
but I really enjoy that as a primary rifle. And yeah, I've got the fusion legendary, and it's really helpful for raids. I can tell you that much, especially for oracles. Two rounds and it's done. Or if it's the first oracle, it's one shot. So, but yeah, it's nice to have those for the raid, but yeah, it's having the exotics just not as nice unless you just want the exotic.
For Nightfalls, maybe. Doc, any decent loot for you?
Um, Mostly just exotics. Got the Praetor's Revenge and the Corrective Measure as well, but not a whole lot other than that.
So I normally don't like those fast firing machine guns, but with that persistence perk and the extra stability that Corrective Measure has, that's a pretty nice machine gun. I'm going to test it out in Iron Banner next week. For me personally, one of my biggest pieces of armor was I got the Warlock chest piece about 5 times. I don't know why. I think I actually got 3 Warlock chest pieces and the class item. Anyways, but I have the swirling Vex tendrils coming out of the back of my Warlock now.
Yeah, I enjoy the armor for this raid. Got that boots for the hunter, so I've got that prosthetic Vex leg going on.
Oh, wow.
I've been really enjoying collecting the armor for these new raids. Like the guns, whatever. If I get them, I get them. If I don't, I don't. I got a good set of weapons I can use right now. But honestly, anything from Age of Triumph, like I'm super excited for the armor and the cosmetics. Like the my hunter I've got, I'm rocking like Crota armor with the Vex cape. I have to say it looks pretty badass. Like it looks awesome.
The
And
raid armor's a big improvement.
yeah, I'm like I don't, honestly I could at this point, I want to get the legendary, weapons and stuff like that, but like I want the armor and the ornaments to like make it look just amazing. That's been like the huge draw for me. So I could kind of care less about the weapons, to be honest.
Well, that King's Fall armor's coming up next week, and so that's supposed to, from what I've seen, they look cooler than the original King's Fall armor.
That's what everybody says.
So hopefully they can be pretty decent. One thing about really quickly King's Fall next week, if it's the same 3 challenges, you will have an extra ornament you'll pick up. So you'll have an extra chance to put ornaments on some of the armor that maybe you didn't get enough ornaments for over the last 2 weeks. And so if you do all 3 challenges, you'll wind up, I think, with 4 ornaments. I need to double check that. But you'll have chances to increase that armor. So we've talked a bunch about rating because honestly, rating is awesome and all this Age of Triumph stuff. But in line with everything old coming back, we're getting Iron Banner Control, and I cannot be more excited. I know that's my favorite game type. I know not a lot of people don't necessarily like it, but Iron Banner Control is coming back. We're getting shotguns, we're getting auto rifles from Lady Aphrodite, so maybe the weapons aren't the best, but um, just to remember, there is a node to get to rank 5 with Iron Banner um, with a character, and you have to do it. It's not retroactive if you've done it in the past, so you have to do it. So just play. But Doc, what are your thoughts about Iron Banner coming back?
Oh, I love Iron Banner. It's like one of the few times that I actually jump into Crucible just to do that. The armor and everything. I just really like what they did with Iron Banner armor. Looks good.
Bnelly, any other particular thoughts about Control or Iron Banner as in general?
I mean, Control is, I would say, probably my favorite Crucible match type. Uh, I mean, I'm like an Iron Banner for sure. I think though, unlike just a normal Crucible match, I think like Iron Banner, I like to go in with fire teams, like actually go with like clan members or whatever, just to make it a little more fun and entertaining, and actually kind of try hard. It's like for me, it's like trials, but not trials. It's like this is a step up from normal PvP, but then like it's not quite getting my face wrecked every 30 seconds in iron or in trials. So I'm looking forward to it coming back. It's always a good time. Kind of, I don't know how much I'll play since King's Fall's coming out, but I'd probably at least still get to level 5. Um, but we'll see. I guess.
So how interesting is it that everyone's least favorite raid is the same week as Iron Banner? Do you think they did it on purpose, or did that just happen to line up? Because I know some of our other clanmates have already spoken that they'll do King's Fall once and then be wipe their hands of it essentially. Um, I think that's funny.
I think they did it on purpose.
Yeah, they probably did it on purpose.
Okay, okay.
For me, I guess I guess it would depend on what the challenge modes are, like if they change anything up or whatever. Um,
I would doubt not much changed up. It should be pretty much the same. Should be.
yeah, well, we'll see. Um, you know, again, me, I just want to go for the armor, so I'll probably do it at least enough to maybe get like a full set of armor on at least a character, maybe, or whatever. But I guess it remains to be seen until it comes out. So
I know I'll be running it because I really enjoy that raid, but I just I'm glad Iron Banner's coming back. I'm glad they're not tabling that and just saying Age of Tyrant's coming back. One thing about going into Iron Banner as a team, especially in Clan Epic, there are so many different levels of um, proficiency in Crucible in there, and so generally, and I know this is bad to say, but generally you're bound to team up with somebody who's slightly lower on the skill tree than you are, which tends to pull the average skill of players that it's trying to find because it's especially now that they're actually going more for connection than skill. It tends to pull that skill gap down a little bit, and so I find that going with a team makes it a fun experience and not really challenging experience. It's challenging for the one or two on the bottom that are low, but I'm getting consistent people who are my skill or slightly under my skill. And so it's just real fun to go in with somebody who's maybe a little lower light than you, maybe a little less skilled, so you can have a little bit more fun. And even if they're down the bottom of the scoreboard, as long as you're winning, most of the time people don't care how well they're doing. And so, and I know that's maybe a little bit horrible to say, but that's honestly fun. Also, one more thing, I'm going to say it. Bungie put in there this week at Bungie to not cap the third zone unless you know for sure you can hold other zones. Listen, public service announcement from acbtheman on Radio Epic. Do not cap the third zone no matter what. I will come to your house and I will find you and I will do bad things to you even if you're not in my game. Please don't. It takes slightly a little bit longer, but you can a lead that is only by 1,000 or 2,000 points can swap so fast if you are not ready to hold that third zone. Okay, done. Rant over.
I'd have to agree with you there. That's one of the easiest ways that I've seen to just totally flip a game is push for the third point. Upsets everything.
Okay, sorry, I had to get that out of my system. Before I found Epic, and every time in year one and year two when it was Control, you had that one guy that wanted to go cap it, and then so you saw somebody run behind him, and then all of a sudden you're split like 2, 2, and 2, while they have a full force of 6 at one point. They roll together, roll over one or two to the second point, and now you're the 1 point, and you don't know what just happened. And so just bad memories of solo queuing in Iron Banner, I guess, is what's happening to me.
Seems like it's always unsure at the time, and you always get stuck with A. Every time.
I I love that map and hate that map equally at the same time. So, any other Destiny news? Any Destiny 2 news come out? I don't really think anything's been said much more about Destiny 2 than I think it's May 18th. We'll get our first gameplay reveal, and just so it's probably on their Twitch. Just make sure you watch it. If not, you can. If you can't watch it live, you can watch the recast or the replay of it. And so, just May 18th is essentially our next hype day for Destiny 2. Can y'all think of any Destiny 2 news that's come out this week that I'm missing?
I don't think they really said anything about it. Just waiting for that gameplay reveal now.
Well, if you want to spoil some things for you, apparently more toy details are being leaked and more descriptions are coming out soon. So avoid the toy stores, which generally is not a problem for Destiny players, but avoid the toy stores, avoid the toy online websites if you don't want any spoilers or anything else that can potentially spoil it. I guess I did have one question from we watching that trailer. The one where we have Zavala outside of the city and Kate on the inside of the city. My only question is, Ikora, is she dead?
No, she's in the with Cade. She's like standing right next to him.
I know, but Zavala says the word sacrifice as a giant cabal is busting through a wall right beside her. She only speaks to Kate directly. She is a warlock. So is she dead? That's my question. Because I could see them coming in saying, oh, well, Cade has her ghost, and the ghost was disabled, and so he's got to go find how to bring her back or how to give her enough light to self-res. I saw that theory on Reddit, and I really got drawn into it. So that would be very interesting. Kill off one of the Vanguard.
Yeah, I've seen that around too. It's an interesting theory. I don't know if they'd follow through with it, but it'd make a nice kind of side plot to go along with the main story if they did.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know why they would kill off Ikora, to be honest.
Well, you don't kill her off. You just say she can't self-res, or you can't revive her because her ghost has been locked or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not kill off, but like I can't see the logic behind essentially taking out a character for a specified time. You know, like
Cortana a character.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, I don't see a logic in it. In my opinion, you know, it's like. It's not like, I mean, they're essential characters, but it's not like they're overly essential characters. You know, they're basically just those NPCs. They're like, hey, we give you your missions, and you know, we're the head of the Vanguard. But it's like, you know, it's not an essential character.
But with an emphasis on storytelling, though, they're trying to make it more of a story for anyone coming in. At least that's what they've said. Could it not be that everyone loves Cade 6 just because Nathan Fillion has a great personality, and all the other voice actors who are doing the other languages kind of bring his personality to Cade 6. So Cade 6, no matter what language you're listening to, is pretty much everybody's favorite character. So maybe they're just trying to bring the other two up, give them a little bit more place. that could be a way to do it. I know that may not be what we would think the best way to do it is, but that could be a way to say, hey, we have some story here, and hey, her ghost is locked, so we can't res her. Oh, hey, her light was stolen. We need to give her more light so she can sell hers. I don't know. It's silly. It's just a thought, and I thought it was an interesting theory based off of the trailer that people were spouting around on Reddit. So
I mean, for me, like, if if that's what they wanted, I don't. If that's what they want to do, I guess I can't. I don't know if I could justify it being part of the main story. Maybe it's like like a side quest or something. It could be a whole host of reasons why we have to do that if that's the case. But I mean, like, I think they have enough content or missing gaps in the current story arc that we already have that I don't see why they would need to do something like that.
well, just because it'd be different, but
Well, yeah.
anyways,
I mean, like I said, like maybe a side mission or, could be, we talked last time about, new subclasses. Maybe she has a new subclass in store for us if we bring her back or something. I don't know. That would be interesting to do. But as far as like main story, I don't see it being necessary to make us have to go find her. I mean, they could, and if they bring it and tie it together, that's great. But I just, with the Cabal invading the tower and the taking of the city and any other host of plot points they may have for us, I don't see it fitting in real well with what the story we've gotten so far from the trailer. Um, so it's an interesting theory, and if they do it well, yeah, that's great. It'd be cool. I just don't know. Like, for me personally, I don't know how well it would fit into the game as it stands, as far as what we know. That's just my thought. But you never know.
okay. And I have one more quick question about Destiny 2, and then we can either wrap up or go on to another topic. I've been hearing a lot of streamers and a lot of I guess big personalities in the Destiny community say that you have to pre-order the digital deluxe edition to get access to the beta. I don't think that's correct. You can just pre-order any regular old edition and have access to the beta, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty confident you can just order any edition. They I think it was Bungie themselves that released some sort of note a while ago saying that like if you didn't get the code on your receipt or whatever for the beta when you ordered your edition, that you need to get a hold of your retailer, whoever you bought it from.
Okay, that could be part of it. I just hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, make sure you buy the second tier up at least to get access to it." Personally, I think I'm gonna go the old pay $5 to GameStop to get pre-order, and then decide whether I'm gonna keep the pre-order at GameStop or get it digitally. I'll probably wind up just keeping it for convenience, but I think that $5 down for a beta is what this Broke Guardian's gonna have to do until the end of the summer.
Yeah. Yeah, I at this point I haven't decided if I'm gonna play Destiny 2. That's a given. I just don't know if I'm going to pre-order or not. So far, I've only pre-ordered one game in the short time I've had an Xbox, um, and Destiny would be a very strong contender. And if I did decide to want to pre-order another game, and I might later. I don't know if I'm going to do it now though. I guess for me, it's like kind of want to maybe see a little more before I decide. Um, Before I really commit to getting the game myself.
They'll excuse me, Bungie will either say um, on the 18th of May or say at E3 when the beta is going to be, and that at that point when they tell you the beta, they will give you the last day to pre-order to get access to it. So if you're still kind of wondering about whether to pre-order, if you're completely against pre-orders, or if you're just like, I want to wait and see more information about Destiny 2 before I pre-order to do the beta, then you should get a time frame either on the 18th of May or I think it's like June 10th or 11th that they're going to have theirs. Anyways, or be part of the Sony thing or be part of E3. Anyways, so you'll have a little bit of time. But uh, excuse me. So what would cause you not to pre-order? Like, why would you not want to pre-order this, especially since you like Destiny so much? You want to get in that beta, but what would be a reason, I guess, you wouldn't pre-order Destiny 2?
I mean, for me, I don't know. I guess until I actually would play see gameplay of it, I don't know if I would not want to pre-order.
Gotcha.
I guess it's more along the lines of like, I just want, after hearing what happened like when Destiny first came out, with like how like everybody's like, oh, it's such a great game and everything, and then like it came out and it kind of fell to expectations.
Gotcha.
I guess I would think Bungie as a company would learn, considering their history with Halo, like they would learn that they make great games and they have the power and the capacity to do so. But I guess for me, if anything, it would just be, is it really going to be worth the money to buy right away? Or should I wait until like that first DLC comes out and then get it? I guess if anything, that would be why I wouldn't buy the game right away or pre-order. For me right now, it's just like, I'm on the hype train, but I'm not on the hype train, kind of thing.
I gotcha.
I'm excited for the game. I want it to come out. I can't wait to play it. It's just like, I kind of just want to know a little more. Like, I want to be like, oh, like, what are the Cabal doing? Why are they invading us? Kind of thing. Maybe get some of that sneak peek as to why it's happening. And right now we just know that they invade. We don't really know much else about why or for what reasons or exactly who is. We just know, hey, the Cabal attacked the city. Maybe it's just a one-time thing. Maybe it's another reason. I guess I kind of just want to know a little bit more, really get sucked into the story. As I said, I'm a sucker for story. Really want to get kind of like drawn into it and be like, all right, can't wait for this to come out because the story looks amazing and I want to play it and just get sucked into all the lore and everything and stuff. So I guess for me, I just kind of want to see a little more before I like really make the decision. Like I said, I'll probably still pre-order it, but at the moment, it's not on my list of $60 to spend. I got other things to do. Broke Guardian here too, so I feel the pain.
Well, I pre-ordered every Bungie game since Halo 3, so I'm kind of a Bungie fanboy like that, and I guess I just got lucky that their games either were fantastic or eventually became fantastic. Not that Destiny Vanilla was bad, it just when they had to scrap it and change it, might not have been as good as everyone was saying. And I also, I personally went into it like it was Halo just to play it casually and have fun with friends, but then I realized there was a little bit more to it than just the play the Halo story and then you're playing a ton of multiplayer matches. So I don't know. For me, I'm definitely a buy anything Bungie puts out. If Bungie put out a Candy Crush competitor on the App Store, I'd probably pre-download it and be ready to play it. This mobile app they had. So I guess it's interesting to hear
don't
that too.
encourage them like that.
Yeah, don't give them suggestions. That
Well,
was
I mean,
terrible.
they are with Activision. They're already doing in-game microtransactions.
That was a terrible epidemic that plagued our society, and we don't need more of it. So stop giving them ideas. Come on, man.
Okay, well, I mean, in addition to their companion app, you get a chance to farm for materials with a little game, just like that, and you can pay money to get better chances at materials. So you're not paying for materials, but you're just paying for better chances at materials.
That's
okay. Bungie,
yeah.
Bungie, please ignore the last 5 minutes of conversation. start now. Okay. I don't know how they're going to hear the start now part, anyways. I'm running out of topics tonight, guys. I think we pretty much covered the Age of Triumph stuff this week. We covered the Iron Banner coming back. We'll probably want to talk about Iron Banner a little bit more next week. Any other topics that y'all want to converse about?
No,
nothing really comes to mind.
I'm satisfied with
All right.
content.
Well, guys, this has been Radio Epic number 2 with acbtheman, bnelly, and Doc Shenanigans. Next week, we're going to talk about Kingsfall, Iron Banner, and we're going to pull some more news stories in, maybe try to have a little bit more focused discussion. There is a chance we'll be pulling in one of the founders of Epic. I'm not 100% sure if we'll get that, but we may have a founder of Epic on. And so, just for everyone listening, everyone who's a fan of Radio Epic, I think it's like 25 of you who listen to it. But anyways, this has been really fun, and I'm glad we're continuing to do this. Any last words, guys?
Hype train.
Yeah, hype train.
All right, guys. I guess I will see y'all next week then.